Welcome home to Homespun, a weekly internet gathering of family, friends, and businesses from Platte County. Our purpose is to connect our community and showcase the colorful threads that run through our tapestry. Grab a warm cup of hometown goodness, sit back, put your feet up, and visit with us a while. I'm your host, Mark DeLapp, and I bring to you portions of interviews from some of our own. Welcome home, Platte County, to Homespun. Okay, we are here at the Wyoming Extension, State of Wyoming Extension, Ag Extension, and we are talking with Megan, and can you spell your last name for me?
I sure can. It's Brittingham.
And is it pronounced Brittingham?
Yes, ma'am.
Brittingham.
Sure, sorry, yes.
It's okay. Brittingham, okay. And first of all, congratulations. What award did you win this year?
Oh, gosh, I knew you were going to ask me a hard one. I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we've got it listed
Yes.
on our sheets.
Yes.
But what do you remember what you had to do to win the award?
So I did very little. So I'm quite humbled that you're even talking with me.
Okay.
I did very little, but there was a small group of 4-H educators around the state and wanted to put together a new logo that kind of corresponded with the new UW logo, Growing Future Cowboys.
Right.
Or the world needs more cowboys. Excuse me. So then were able to adapt that and create a new logo together, and then we had it printed on shirts and T-shirts and sweaters and everything.
Okay. And so you were part of a think tank, in other words, so to speak?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And how many times did you guys meet before you came up with the logo?
It was a lot of emailing.
Okay.
We never met. It was all over email.
So what is your background, Megan, that you were part of the graphic arts team that developed a branding or a logo for this?
Well, I'm the president of the Wyoming 4-H Agent Association, and so I just like to to have T-shirts
Okay.
and sweaters because it's kind of our wardrobe.
Right.
And I just wanted to be part of the cool kid.
Sure.
I just needed a
And
new
that
shirt.
it's called Growing Wyoming's Future Cowboys.
Leader, yeah.
Okay, so
Excuse me, yeah.
obviously the song "Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys"
Right.
is something that you want to take a stand against.
Right?
Then,
I guess so.
Mamas, let your
Yeah.
kids grow up to be cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what are you doing to help promote that program?
So that's just identifying what we've already done. We're all, Wyoming, we think of 4-H, people often, if they're not familiar with 4-H, often don't associate us to Extension or to the university at all. And they think that we're just this independent county thing, which kind of we are, but not really.
Right.
We have that weird three-way partnership.
Right.
And so we wanted to make sure that everyone was reminded that your first class at UW really is in 4-H.
Sure. And so every county in the state of Wyoming has its own 4-H club, correct?
Yes, every county in Wyoming has its own 4-H educator,
Okay.
and every educator oversees however many 4-H clubs they have in their
Okay.
county, and those are volunteer driven.
And you're from the Goshen
Yes.
County, right?
Yes.
And how many clubs are under you?
We have 12 in Goshen County.
12. Now, do you have to go to every one of those meetings?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. And we're fortunate as well. We do have 5 judging teams
Okay.
as well, and those are more county-based, so they're not club-based. So all the kids who want to learn more about livestock judging or produce judging is another favorite. They come together, and I work with those volunteers as well. And they
Sure.
do meet here in my office.
Right.
And I don't have to be here, but I learn a lot when I do.
Right.
Stick around.
And what do you do? What is one of your goals as far as creating more cowboys in Wyoming?
Well, I think it's important. It came from a place of the university's brand messaging that they were coming across, trying to, I don't know if you're familiar with that marketing message that they had. So they launched it 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it had this sweet logo and all these new things. And there was, excuse me, a real concerted effort to try to tie 4-H and Extension back to the university. And so that
Okay.
really was just to create that awareness that we're part of the university.
So they're pretty much just rebranding everything then. When you have your 4-H kids together and things like this, how many kids are really involved in, let's say, the Goshen County?
So we have, I'm glad you asked that. That's a fascinating question. So we have about 300 kids involved in our, what I would call our classic 4-H program.
Okay.
On a percentage basis, because I'm not from Wyoming either.
Okay.
And so when I say that to colleagues outside of Wyoming, they go, well, that's not very big. But on a percentage basis, it's almost 25% of all young people who are age eligible are involved in Goshen County 4-H.
Right, right.
And then our classroom partnerships, that was about another 300 that I
Wow.
get to engage with as well.
For one county?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Do you guys do anything with, is SFFA pretty big out here too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And what role do they play also in this?
They are, so I'm doubly blessed that both of our FFA chapters here in our county
Okay.
work really well with 4-H.
Okay,
And we play together a lot, all the time.
sure. Well, if you're FFA, you're pretty much 4-H, pretty much.
In our county, yes.
I mean, that's the way it was in Minnesota and
Yes.
Iowa and things like that.
I know other places they do not have a great relationships, but we
Sure.
are very, very fortunate that we share the same kids. We share a lot of ideas and things between us. We do the fair together. We're very,
We had an event, or kind of a cool thing last year where I had a student that had spina bifida, and so he was in a wheelchair, and he wanted to show.
yeah.
And so he went to one of the farms, and he had one of the farmers hand-pick one of the calves, and he showed for the first time
Oh, wow.
at the Sioux County Youth Fair
Awesome.
and won the grand champion.
There you go.
As a disabled shower.
Right.
And he
right.
did really well. You know, his
Right.
handler was behind him, pushing him with the wheelchair, but he was the one
was
that worked
showing.
with that
Yeah.
calf and showed that calf.
Great.
So it was kind of awesome. Do you have anything like that as far as for special needs children or?
That need has not come up for us
Okay.
just yet. We have, many of our youth have learning disabilities as
Sure.
well, but no, not a physical limitation that keeps
Right.
them.
And when is your big county fair here?
We're knocking on wood that it's the first week of August.
And where's that held? Right here?
Right here in Torrington, just down the road.
Okay.
At the fairgrounds. Yeah.
And after the county fair, then they go to right away to the state fair, correct?
Correct. We have a day in between,
Oh, okay.
so.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
rare. Usually
no,
they
Laramie
get,
County and Carbon County also.
wow. Yeah, we usually had like 2-3 weeks between that and the state fair.
Yes.
So they just find out, they get judged, they get awarded, and then they have to
Make the decision.
Make the decision to go right away.
Yes, and it's, yeah, yeah.
And where's the state?
State fair is held in Douglas.
In Douglas,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And so that's not that far for you guys to go then?
No. So we have a lot of families that kind of go back and forth
Sure,
throughout the
sure.
week.
Well, it's not too bad for travel here. I
No.
assume that if they're coming from the other side of the state or up in Sheridan County,
Yes.
they've got quite
Correct.
a jaunt with those animals
Yes.
on the roads. What's the biggest challenge that you face in your position, Megan?
Right now, I think it's overall, I think sometimes it's hard for folks to know all there is to do in 4-H and to recognize that it's not just agriculture projects.
Sure.
One of the biggest booms that Goshen County has seen in the past few years has been our robotics program. And that has been,
That's run through 4-H also?
yes.
Oh,
And
wow.
right behind you are all of our robot kids.
Okay, we used to have robotics, but it was not run through the 4-H program, so I know that I've gone to a couple of the competitions where it's just amazing what the kids do.
Yes.
So do they have any at robotics at the county level, at the county fair?
We have some. So we have a state 4-H contest that is just designed for robotics.
Sure.
So every year we have, are you familiar with the state Lego League?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's modeled loosely after that, but in my opinion, ours is more fun.
Okay.
Because we do the sumo where we try to knock the other robot out of the ring.
Sure.
And then we have kind of a mission map where we show up and find out that we have to program our robots to do various missions, as well as like just a basic construction.
So there's robot building.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so because it was so popular for us, we work in teams, and that's another county-wide thing. It doesn't matter what club you're in, you can still come in and
Right.
build robots and program robots and work on teams to do those things.
That's great.
We've had huge success with that.
That's great.
It's just a project that's available that
Sure.
our volunteers said, Megan, try it, and I said, okay.
Now, Megan, where are you from?
I originally am born and raised in Ohio.
Ohio?
Yes.
Well, you came quite a ways across the country.
Just a bit, yeah.
What part of Ohio?
I was born in Northeast Ohio, outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
And then graduated high school, went to college down in Southwest Ohio, in the
Okay.
Dayton area.
Okay. And your degree is in?
Theater and English.
Theater and English,
Yes.
which qualifies you completely to be the the education coordinator, right?
Right, the 4-H educator, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How did that come to be that you went from theater major to 4-H?
4-H educator position, that's our family business. So I'm second generation 4-H educator. My mom also is a 4-H educator
In Ohio?
in Dayton, yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So you kind of grew up with it all your life.
All my life, literally.
So your degree in college didn't give you the qualifications for this job as much as your
Correct.
on the job experience.
Correct. So
Okay.
I started with Ohio State University Extension and 4-H as a program assistant working in 4-H with a special program in Columbus, our state capital, and then moved to another county where I was doing similar things.
Wow, that's
Kinda-
incredible.
Yeah. And it happened, I was in college, I needed a job, and they said, well, here's 20 hours a week or something, and went, okay. And then they bumped it up to 30, and then,
Wow.
well, here's full time, and okay.
So you actually played right into your strength and
I
at
didn't
that.
mean to. I didn't mean to.
But it kind of fell in because you had the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people probably had that experience that you had.
Probably not. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of 4-H educators have kids.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. So you, why theater? Why did you major in theater?
That's my love.
Okay, in high school, were you a theater buff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you actually on stage
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you do?
Oh, all through high school and college even. I was
Okay.
all over the place. Really, then once I got to college and had a good time there, I thought I wanted to go and be the researcher. So if you were to launch a more historical thing, you know, Othello or one of those historical
Sure.
pieces, or even I wanted to be the researcher on that and figure out not just the clothing and the slang, but
Time period.
that kind of helps everybody kind of wiggle into their roles
Yes,
a little bit when you have
Yeah.
some context of
to
history.
morph into that.
Yes.
Now, people that know you say that you're very quiet and shy.
No one said
And,
that.
oh, yes.
No
The
one
one
said
lady
that.
said that to me. She goes, well, she's kind of shy. I don't know if she's going to want an interview with you.
No one said that.
Oh, yes.
No way.
Honest to God.
Who said that?
Linda.
This Linda here?
Yes.
She lies.
She told me that. And I thought,
Lies.
well, maybe
No.
that's why you hide in a role position. What was your favorite position you played in high school? What was the favorite role you played?
We did this off the wall and I can't even remember it, but it was like a profile of a gal losing her mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it a self-written play or?
No, it was self-written by someone.
Okay.
Not by me.
But you don't know.
But that was when I was in college.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, that's incredible. We one of my favorite places in the Midwest completely is the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, in right out of Minneapolis. It's
Okay.
got 4 dinner theaters under one roof.
Okay.
And it's probably
Wow.
one of the best ones in the world. It's got all Broadway talent there,
Wow.
and of course the Guthrie Theater is also up in Minneapolis, which
Okay,
is good.
yeah.
But my brother, who graduated from the Chicago Art Institute, went on to Off-Broadway, and he was in a lot of Off-Broadway plays.
Yes,
And
yes.
so he had access to a lot of different things out there, and he was very talented. He got the deep end of the gene pool in our family, I always like to say, because he went and he was a musician, and he was 6'4" and blonde hair and blue eyes, and he did really well. And I remember going out to New York during the time when Studio 54 was real popular.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I was out on their dance floor, and got bumped really hard, and I turned around to see who was being so rude, and it was Lauren Bacall. And she was a good friend of my brother's.
Oh my gosh.
And Andy Kaufman, and so I got to meet a lot of those people, but I always felt like I was the Midwestern hayseed,
Right.
from Wisconsin, and I didn't feel like I fit real well
Right.
into
Right.
that. And I mean, my cousins still live in Greenwich Village out there, and so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
One of my cousins won a Grammy in 1992 for folk anthology notes.
Oh, wow.
And so he did really well.
Yeah.
And he has been in Guinness Book of Records for the oldest surviving rock band. They started in the 50s as Beatniks.
Oh, wow.
And they wrote the song "So You Want to Be a Bird" on the Easy Rider
Okay, okay.
soundtrack and
Oh,
things like
wow.
that. So I've been around a lot of that kind of thing. So it's interesting to get your take on what you liked as far as plays go. Kind of lends me to read between your lines and find out what kind of plays make you tick and what makes you successful in 4-H. And where's your correlation there?
I don't know. I never thought, like, really, truly, I love it, and I still love it, and if they let me go tomorrow, I'd say, okay, well, let me go find some regional theater that's looking for someone to do something.
I would think that's brilliant, that you come in and you are exuding that onstage presence with these kids. I think they must just absolutely think you're their hero.
Well, one of my most favorite compliments I've gotten in my job here in Goshen County was our livestock judging coach was preparing kids for the big national livestock judging contest in Louisville. And we were driving home from the state contest, and he said, I'm really going to need you for this. And I was like, I don't know. You know so much more about this than I do. Like, where do I even fit? And he said, you and your theatrics are going to teach our kids how to do reasons. And sure enough, it was public speaking, and that's all reasons is public speaking and
Sure,
defending your placings.
sure.
And so whenever I get the chance to be invited to talk about that with kids, I get a kick out of it. Because
And
that isn't the few things that is in my wheelhouse.
Sure. And how long have you been in this role that you're in right now?
In Goshen County, my 10-year work anniversary was April 1st.
How many? 10 years?
10 years here in
You-
Goshen County.
When did you start? When you were 8?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And then
you don't
I had,
look old enough to be 10 years.
yeah, and then I had 5 years in Ohio
Okay.
as well. So,
Wow. So
Thank you.
you've built up the experience.
yes.
And before you were in Goshen County, where were you?
Previously it was Franklin County, Ohio.
Okay.
But it was in the university district. So
Okay.
I only worked within a sub district.
While you were going to college.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you have coming up that you're looking forward to here? What's
Well,
on the docket?
That coming up next, the chicks were, this COVID thing has ruined our, kind of blasted all of our cool things
Right.
to pieces. So starting.
What has it canceled?
So far, our state woolen meats judging contest.
Okay.
So far
Yeah.
is where we're at. It has delayed the start of our robotics because that is a group piece that
Right.
we do together, and so we can't do that right now.
Okay.
Anything that I had on the calendar, I've been fortunate and been able to move it online.
Okay.
The chicks was one. I took the call that we weren't to be face-to-face programming in the parking lot of a school, and I had dropped off a whole bunch of incubators and was about to drop off some more, and then we were told
Couldn't do that.
we could. At that point I could
Yeah.
go in and drop off the incubator. I just could not program.
Right. And tell me a little bit more about the Chicks program that you had set up.
So that we started that 3 years ago in partnership with our school teachers, and
Okay.
it's third and fourth and sometimes fifth graders. They get curriculum. I provide them everything they need to know, as well as just general support.
On raising a chick.
Well, it is the hatching is the education
Okay.
piece of it, and so it studies life cycles, and there's a little bit of science and technology and engineering